joking? Like, is this a joke? You're actually part of Natty or not on this amp mode 4.
What's up guys, Derek, moreplates.com. Today we are going to be talking about Tyler Graham and his insane body transformation. This guy is, there's not a lot of context actually behind, you know, how old he is, what his weight is, what his height is, any of this shit. So not a whole lot of background information to go off of, but a bunch of you guys tagged me in his TikToks where he is talking about how he's natty, and you know, there's a lot of people saying he's not, and you know, obviously we're fucking doing this video, and he has a very impressive physique, especially for what I assume to be a pretty young guy, because his Instagram, if you go down, it wasn't that long ago that he pretty much looked like a kid, you know, like here in 2017, looking young as fuck here. And he has, you know, I'm just like extrapolating the fuck out of this shit. All I can tell is it looks like he was, you know, in school relatively recently, to the point that he's probably, you know, barely in his early 20s by now or something like that. I don't really know, but like this is a fucking 2018 fight at a school, it looks like. So presumably he was in high school not that long ago, I guess. Like, I don't know, dude. At the end of the day, this is the physique transformation, and this was in 4 years apparently. So he went from a fucking rail to being, you know, very good quad separation, very good balanced physique, lean as fuck, and looking like a fucking specimen and a half. This guy is very, very aesthetically appealing to the broad audience. Like, this would be something that, you know, the fitness industry guys would be like, oh, he's not that big, blah, blah, blah. To the average person, this is like the pinnacle of fucking achievement for, you know, bodybuilding outcomes. Anything bigger than this is, well, I guess it depends, because of course you see him in heavy downlighting with a pump, everything's fucking spot on positioning for posing and everything like that. Whereas you see him in a t-shirt, and then some people will be like, is this even the same guy? You know, like, everyone knows the fucking difference between lighting and posing, but for some reason people, even though everyone says they do, in the comments they'll still be like, this is impossible. And then they see him in a fucking outfit, and they're like, okay, well, that's reasonable. It's just the same story every fucking time. So anyways, there he is at, I don't fucking know. I don't even know why I said at, like I was gonna guess. And then here he is flexing until he prolapses himself, and more before pics. Cheeky fucking after, I guess. So this is the transformation in question, and this is I don't know, one of his most iconic photos, I guess. You know, a lot of the tags are coming from this shit because he has a very good core. And what a lot of people don't realize is how much having a shredded midsection really enhances the look you have in terms of how muscular you are. Like, it gives you a false sense of this guy is jacked when you see like deep ab cuts, almost to the point where you could see a guy who's in the, you know, the 160s or light 170s, and you're like, wow, this guy's got to be on gear because he has a fucking diced six-pack, when in reality his arms are like 15.5 inches. You know what I mean? So like, with the perfect downlighting, the perfect pump, the perfect fucking everything, you just nared the night before, carbed up, whatever, like, you can look like you're on gear to the average guy, even when you're, you know, just standing there with your good genetics and you're like 170 pounds. So I don't know what he weighs. That's the main thing here. I don't know how much of a change this has been. But in the TikTok community, I guess, there's been a lot of people making natty or nots on him already, or at least some people. And he responds to them, and he pretty much just like shits on them for saying otherwise. His, I guess he got banned recently. He was at, it seems like there's like increasing censorship on this platform, dude, to the point where it's like what can you even post on TikTok now? I don't even know. So anyways, he got banned for something, but presumably if he's posting this, you know, like, I can see why he might have got a bad hammer for sure. But anyways, you know, like, it seems like there's some guys who are just posting like very basic shit though that are getting like community guideline strikes and stuff, and it's like, for what? So anyways, this is the transformation. I might have to mute it. Yeah, it sounds like there's gonna be some songs I cannot use. So anyways, here he is, presumably pretty new to working out. Now again, we're taking for his word when he says he started working out and shit. Like, I don't actually know if he's, you know, plateaued at year 3 and then hopped on gear, or if he was actually saying, oh, this is when I started, this is what my physique was at the beginning, because he could easily lie and have been starting at 15 and be at 17, 18 and, you know, starting to plateau. and saying that's when he started. Like, we can't really fact check any of this shit. We don't know any of his statistics. Here he is showing, his progress in terms of pull-ups and whatnot. Obviously, throughout the years, he's become very, very strong and athletic, where he can do, crazy body weight movements and shit. It seems like that was his preferred method of progressive overload, is like loading up body weight exercises. And this is the end turnout of his physique, with everyone thinking he is not natural. So anyways, this is the Natty or Not that got kind of blown up, I guess, on TikTok. Like, I don't even know what to compare proportionally TikTok views to. Is it like 1 million TikTok views is like 100,000 on YouTube or something? Because it's like, this shit, like, it seems like you can pop off doing fucking anything. Like, you just go like, drop like a fucking water balloon on my head right in front of you right now and get like 17 million views. Like, it's fucked up. So, I'm just fucking guessing. But it seems like some of the stuff I've been looking at on TikTok lately, like, mind-blowing how viral this shit goes. So, anyways, this got almost 1 million views, a Natty or Not, and then his response to the Natty or Not. So, maybe I can go see what the original one got, actually, and we'll see if we can watch that first. You can hear the guy's critique of the guy's physique, and then I'll kind of circle back to his response, where he kind of just like shits on this guy, and then I will give my feedback. Okay, so this is the original Natty or Not.
Are you guys joking? Like, is this a joke? You're asking for a Natty or Not on this Amp Mode 420. Look at this physique, and look at that physique. That's like a freaking 100-pound difference. This kid doesn't have the genetic code to go from that to that.
Okay, I wouldn't say it's a 100-pound difference. Like, this is, I don't know. If I'm gonna ballpark, I would probably say this is gonna be way off. I'm literally just pulling this out of my ass. Maybe like 140 to 150 here. I don't know how tall he is, by the way. I'm just guessing if he's like 6 feet or something. 140 to 150 here, maybe like 180 here. Like, I don't know. It's definitely not 100 pounds though. Like, this guy would look like a fucking Olympian if he had 100 pounds on him with this body fat.
Watch his full video. You'll see the transition in between. He hits a certain amount of weight that is doable, Natty. Yes, he was doing great. He was doing phenomenal. But that does not turn like that without any supplements, any gear, anything that's strong enough to produce fucking that. Look at his fucking chin. Look how big his fucking chin got out of that too. And his frame freaking doubled. That's not Natty, ladies and gentlemen. That's this kid, Amp Mode 420. You know, the kid's full of shit. You know.
Okay, and then it looks like he posted another one the other day.
From posted about this kid, you guys asked again.
I guess this is a response, actually, so maybe I'll pull up his response to this fucking guy, and then I'll show his response, so then I can finally get to mine. So this is the response to that one.
You're asking for a Natty or Not on this Amp Mode 4.
So a lot of people have been tagging me in this video where this guy who sounds like he has 2 brain cells left and can barely piece a sentence together says that I'm on steroids because my traps are too big and my jaw is too big. This is the first picture that I ever took of myself when I started working out. This was about after 2 weeks of doing pull-ups in my bedroom.
Okay, so like, again, at that point, I don't know for sure if that's when he did start working out, you know? You have all the incentive in the world to lie about it, obviously, if you are trying to be a fake natural. So I don't know for certain that that's the case. We just have to take his word for it, essentially. There's not a whole lot of context that we really can dig into, because it's not like this is like chronologically fucking fact-checked by anybody, except for, you know, we're just taking his word.
This was the second picture that I ever took. This was after about like 2 months. And I don't know if you could tell from this picture or not, but 3 years ago, my jaw was still the exact same size and my traps were rather large. In fact, if you really want to get into it, my jaw was still pretty big even when I was like 8 years old. Here's another picture of progress. And here's a very recent picture that I took. You could do with this information as you wish. Just know that I don't have normal genetics and I've never had body fat in my life.
Joking?
Okay, so then, I don't know, is this a response to that one, presumably?
Ladies and gentlemen, I got a lot of controversy from posting about this kid. You guys asked again, so I figured I'd go over it in more detail. This kid claims that he has the genetic genes that no one else has, and he's able to gain so much muscle, and he's so strong and so perfect. Bro, you do not go from that to that. I don't care if you had anorexia. I don't care if you weren't working out or had a broken arm here, broken arm there. It does not work like that. You do not go like that from that in 3 years. It does not work. I don't care. Your genes are not that special. Yes, I'm not taking nothing away from you, Ape. I understand you work hard. You're very dedicated to the gym. Your diet's in tune. Yes, you want to compete. You want to do your Natty show. That's another thing. Just because you're doing a fucking Natty show does not make you natural. Stop telling little kids that. I know plenty of clients that I had that put in Natty shows that were not natural. All they did was ran HCG and Clomid and got the levels back up to par. Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay, so I guess he got cut off before he could finish the rant. But yeah, I definitely agree that there are a lot of guys taking shit at natural shows. The testing parameters are very subpar. And frankly, they don't even have the budget to do good testing. So it's not even necessarily their fault. They just don't have the ability to thoroughly test people properly. So anyways, that's kind of, you know, a fair point, I guess. But as far as the actual physique, again, we have no fucking stats, dude. Let's see what this one is. He doesn't have that many posts, so maybe I can just fire through these.
And here's a very recent picture that
You and Mike O'Hearn could be best friends.
So this video is brought to my attention where this fitness influencer on TikTok makes a sarcastic joke towards me, but in his comment section, he goes a lot further. Insane genetics? Did you see him before he started lifting? Definitely not insane genetics. So if you're unaware of my background, before I started working out, I had an eating disorder called anorexia, and I was severely underweight on the BMI scale. That's a picture of my face. You could see my sunken in cheeks and just how skinny my neck was. I had never played any sports, and I would play video games all day, and I would skateboard. Here's a picture of me with a broken arm from skateboarding. And you know, I really don't care about what some 30-year-old who has no idea what he's talking about has to say about me. It's the fact that this is how he's talking to people that enjoy my content. People also need to understand that I do not look like Mr. Olympia whatsoever. This is me with my friends. I'm in the top right corner, and I'm not that much bigger than them. And here's a very...
Yeah, again, so just because you have insane core, you know, deep ab cuts, when you actually put guys beside each other in real life, like, yeah, in a fucking picture on your own with perfect circumstances, you look jacked as fuck because of the deep ab insertions, the low body fat, everything, you know, plays in your favor. But then when you actually stand a guy beside another guy who's, you know, relatively, you know, close to the same body weight or lean mass, you know, you can see pretty clearly that the guys who have insane, you know, aesthetic cosmetic insertions essentially don't necessarily look massive. Rather, they look, you know, representative of their actual size. They're just far more pleasing to look at because they have like the great muscle bellies and they're fucking shredded. So, you know, this guy is not steroid big necessarily, but again, how many guys do we see all the fucking time who take gear who don't look like they take gear? Like even professional athletes at the top of the game with top 0.00 whatever percent genetics. Anderson Silva popped for drostanolone even when he had his like worst physique in the UFC. So you definitely don't need to look a certain way even to take gear. Like everyone tries to point out based on, typically it's very like glaring obvious things like, you know, the cap delts, the, you know, giant traps, side effects like acne, hair loss, shit like that. But you more have to look at the progress of the individual and make kind of a extrapolate as many facts as you can to kind of support whatever conclusion you're going to come to. And it's very fucking difficult with a guy like this where there's not that much historical data to even confirm. Like it's not like he's a famous celebrity that you can cross-reference, you know, roles they've done to see what their weight was and how old they were, how much training history they had, what their preparation was for the movie, stuff like that. So here we're kind of just ballparking and still don't know how much he weighed. We just know he was anorexic at some point, potentially started training like 3 or 4 years ago, and this is where he's at now. But again, he's not like steroid big. Like I would be surprised if this guy was over 200 pounds, depending on his height, of course. So let's see. He got banned apparently, which fucking sucks, obviously. I don't know if it was because he's posting shit like this. But let's see. This is one about him talking about gear again.
This is honestly one of the funniest scenarios I've ever been in my life, where I have like thousands of people accusing me of steroids or acting like they know more about me than I know about myself. Like, I think it really goes to show just how delusional some people are, and once they make up their mind on a topic, there's no changing it. So I don't really care to convince those people of anything. I honestly, you could say, oh, take it as a compliment that they say that you're on steroids, but they're not saying it in a complimenting fashion. They're literally just trying to tear me down or telling me that I should delete everything. And to these people, it's like a lose-lose scenario for the person that they accuse. Like, if you ignore them, it's you're dodging the subject, and that means you're on steroids. And if you defend yourself, that means you're getting defensive and you're on steroids.
Jesus, fuck, rest in peace, headphone users. So anyway, you know, like, I can understand his stance, I guess. You know, you don't have to go out of your way to prove it. You could do like a fairly reasonable job if you wanted to via blood work and urine analysis, of course, but then it's like, is it randomized or even submitting your own fucking samples? Shit like that. I've described how to essentially prove you're a natty for at least a significant portion of the year to where you could then really strongly support the likelihood that if your lifts aren't going down and you're not losing any tissue, that you were likely natural for a giant chunk of the year preceding the test. Consequently, you could infer that you're, you know, probably natural overall. So that's something he could do and what a lot of these guys could do, but most of them just don't go out of their way to spend the money to do it. This is, let's see, 2018 him versus 2021 him. So this is, whoa, fuck sakes, dude. So anyway, gotta love TikTok and the fucking copyrighted songs. So this is him in 2018 versus 2021. Okay, so like, again, not even really comparable. The guy's in a fucking shirt and he's standing in a room and now he has like the best lighting ever and he's at his peak physique. Let's see. You don't have good genes. Clearly, let's just fucking watch it. Last one.
I'm also on steroids just make no sense to me. Like, that's literally double thought. Like, how can you think that I'm doing so well that it's not humanly possible that I need to be on steroids when I don't have any symptoms of steroid use? Like, it would make sense if I had gyno or had hair loss or if I had acne or if I had bulking and cutting phases, but I've never had any of those. Like,
okay, so none of those arguments support the fact that you're natural whatsoever, really. Like, those are, yeah, like I guess, but those are like blatant hyper response, like side effects. Like if this guy's like 20, 21 or some shit, like the likelihood you're going to have like the visual representation of hair loss from gear already very low, to be honest. Like you can get away with a decent amount of blasting if you don't have like total shit hair genetics before you start to see the representation of hair loss come forth, because you know, have 100,000 plus hair follicles on your head. You can lose 5, 10,000 of them and not even notice a fucking difference. So that's not a really good argument, you know, and obviously acne is very genetically dependent among a lot of the other side effects that are just like cosmetically obvious. You know, bulking and cutting, a lot of guys that are like very, very lean guys who have crazy metabolisms and or, you know, don't eat enough, they'll, you know, lean gain where they don't really accrue a significant amount of body fat because they don't really do, you know, some guys are just not doing the hyper aggressive, you know, bulk phases anymore because people are seeing that as a subpar way to grow. And obviously there's arguments for and against that. You know, there are a lot of bodybuilders who think you need to like gain a decent amount of fat during the off season to really maximize the nutrients and the gear that you're using. And then there's other people who think you should like do the slow and steady approach. You know, I'm not here to argue one or the other, but I'm just saying it's not really indicative of the fact that you did or didn't take gear. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm not trying to blow myself, but I've never had double-digit body fat once in my life. I can eat as much as I want all the time, and I will never put on fat. My traps and shoulders have been large ever since I was skin and bones. I have pictures of myself from all throughout my transformation, and there's never a point where I'm on or off a cycle of steroids. And there's never a point where I have body acne. There's never a point where I stop training. Like, you could just look at the dates on these pictures. My entire transformation has been a steady progression. And if you want to look at my skin, I don't have any stretch marks that would indicate fast growth. Okay,
stretch marks, again, not really a fair, useful argument. So anyways, let's go to his Instagram. And historically, you know, I guess this is, I don't know how old he is, of course. Fishing, looking pretty skinny. This is like just before starting to lift. This is him shortly after getting into lifting, I guess, in February 2018. Got the fucking delt and arm separation already, you know, sort of. Here he is in a, I don't know, dude, just tank chilling with some sunglasses. Let's see where he starts to take some physique shots here. 2018. Look, there's not a fucking lot of content to go off of, dude. I'm just like ballparking the shit out of this. Here he is in 2020 and looking not very, you know, not that impressive necessarily, but this is, again, he's lean, so it looks just 100 times better when he's in down lighting circumstances and he's pumped up and everything like that. When you have lighting that's going to not show your cuts off, it's almost like David Lade, you know? He'll like show up in a t-shirt and you're like, oh, this guy's like an athletic, you know, lean guy. And then he takes off his shirt, you're like, oh, like he probably takes fucking gear, you know? Like that's sort of what this guy reminds me of, is like a David Lade sort of. Here he is in the down lighting. And by the way, that's not discussing David Lade's like historical use versus not use. That was actually my first natty or not I ever did on David Lade, like back in like 2018 or something. But like right now, I wouldn't be surprised if he's natural. So anyways, for this guy, these are the pictures in question. Again, getting back to the core genetics, this guy is fucking slicey, dude. Like this guy is really fucking lean year round, and it just makes his physique look insanely impressive. You know, he has the striations in his fucking chest here. And I can see why people would be, you know, skeptical. But again, this is him in natural lighting. And all of a sudden, I bet you a lot of people are like, what the fuck happened? Did you go off cycle? Or you, like, what happened, dude? You lose all your progress? In reality, he's just fucking like 170 shredded, you know? That's probably the likely story. It's not like he just, you know, lost a bunch of shit. Rather, you're just seeing the fucking hyper perfect circumstances in his photos. Like he's standing here and you would just think this guy is natural and works out, to be honest. Like, I don't think this looks crazy impressive necessarily. He just looks like an athletic, you know, lean guy. But then you see him in the fucking downlighting and boom, Slicey McGee. So anyways, as far as getting to the end, giving my overall status, to be honest, dude, without more context, without more historical data, without even knowing what the fuck this guy weighed before and after, I would say like probably like a decent likelihood that he's just genetically blessed as fuck and could be natural, you know? There's certainly a possibility that he's unnatural, and you know, some of those older shots he was at an earlier point in his timeline and he's like lying about when he started lifting or whatever. But dude, like I'm just looking at this and I'm not seeing anything indicative of, like, the physique is impressive and most guys on gear won't look this good, but a lot of this just comes down to body fat percentage and insertions rather than actual overall amount of tissue on his frame necessarily. So again, without historical data, I can't actually say for certain this guy definitely did something or didn't do something. So obviously the safer bet would be to say just, I don't know. But let's just say if the context is correct that he's giving, then it's very plausible that he could just be, obviously you can tell he's genetically blessed based on his body fat percentage, based on his growth in the past few years. You could say that's gear, you could say whatever. I would need the body weight, dude, to give you a fair assessment. But personally, I think it's plausible he's natural. I'm not gonna say he is for certain, but there's just not enough data to go off of otherwise. So anyways, that is my stance. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like I could certainly see from some of these shots, people leaning in the unnatural direction, 100%. Like some of this shit is very, very impressive, even for, you know, guys on gear aren't gonna look this good. But a lot of times it comes down to, again, just what your physique insertions are like. Like the body weight of a guy on gear can easily exceed this by 30 pounds of lean mass and look worse and shittier than this guy. And yeah, when they actually stand beside each other, the guy with bad genetics on gear will dwarf him proportionally. But in photos, like who's actually going to look jacked, more jacked and better, it's going to be this guy because of the way his structure is built. So, you know, again, I would need more body stats to actually make an accurate assessment. So it's almost like unsafe as fuck to be like natty or not based on like fucking 10 TikToks or some shit. So if he's telling the truth, it's certainly plausible he's natural, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All the comments help the algorithm. They're much appreciated. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplates.com. Follow me on Instagram, and More Plates, More Dates, Facebook, Snapchat, BitChute, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below, including my TRT clinic. It's all telemedicine from the comfort of your own home. Gorilla Mind, nootropic formulas, Gorilla Mode, pre-workout formulas that design myself from scratch, and anything else I'm associated with. It's all in the video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.